Evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the finale of this brief two-game series and this abbreviated 9-game road trip. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as a big 6-6 right-hander's first pitch of the ball game taken off the plate. That one catches a piece of the plate. Hour and 49-minute rain delay. Eaton comes in at 247, 5 homers, 14 knocked in. He was 0 for 5 last night. Fouls that back. Sox come in hitting at 240 as a team with a 4.18 team ERA.
Lackey will use a slider for his breaking pitch. He will occasionally drop in a curveball, but not all that often. And he throws a pretty good sinker and a four-seam fastball to go with it.
And that's up high. Lifetime against our Sox, he is 3-6. But he has a nice 3.81 ERA. Peralta, if he gets to it, you're out. So with one out, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, our director in Coon, with Alexi. Steve's going with Sanchez and David Novak and all the great folks at Poogie Hyundai. Poogie Hyundai and Downers Grove and I, we're going to go with Melky Cabrera.
I went with Carlos because he's a mutter. And it's a little wet in the infield, not quite as wet as it is in the outfield, however.
Well, we've got to congratulate Bill Findley, who is the head groundskeeper here, because he and his crew of 19, 20 counting him, they did a tremendous job in getting this field somewhat playable. As I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, that's as hard as I've ever seen it rain. And lightning streaking across the skies. Wow. And there's still a fanny in almost every seat. It's amazing.
But when you're averaging what they're averaging, you're pretty much selling out every seat.
There's a line shot. Right to Mark Reynolds.
And even if a few went home because of the very severe storms that passed through and more promising to come through later, there's still a whole lot, a surprising amount that stayed around.
They're averaging 43,370. per game. Since this stadium has been open, as we mentioned, if you missed the game last night, the smallest crowd they've ever had was a little over 30,000.
When you consider how small the city of St. Louis proper is, you can tell what a remarkable accomplishment that is.
Melky 0-2 the count. Melky hitting at 252, couple homers, he's driven in 26. Lackey getting it and throwing it. Something he did not do in that Boston uniform.
No, he came over from the Red Sox. And the principals, Alan Craig and Joe Kelly, going back on July 31st of last year. It's a pretty good deal for these Cardinals. Seeing as both Craig and Kelly are in the minor leagues now, and John Lackey is one of the mainstays in the starting rotation, which is one of the best rotations in all of baseball.
And he chops that one foul down to Debo, Darryl Boston, who's going to make himself a new friend. That's outside, way outside. So a full count. Lackey, 37 games over 500 in his career, 158 up and 121 down. Off the end of the bat, Wong's got him. And a 1-2-3 inning after a half inning of play. It's our guys nothing and their guys coming to bat.
It's Wong, Carpenter, and Peralta at the top, with Reynolds, Grichuk, and Molina in the middle, followed by Hayward, Borges, and John Lackey rounding it out. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Jose Quintana, Melky Cabrera, Adam Eaton, and Avisail Garcia in the outfield. Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers is behind the plate again tonight, and our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Jose Quintana, on for his 16th start. Looking for his 4th win, his ERA a touch below 4. He also has had very good control, and left-handers have done almost nothing with him, and that's good because the top 2 in the batting order are left-handed.
So here's Wong, 24-year-old second baseman, Colton Wong, hitting at .289, 9 homers, and 36 driven in. Cardinals come in hitting at .264 as a team with a 2.60 ERA here on July 1st. That's quite remarkable. First pitch strike. They are 29-8 here at home. And here at the ballpark, 336 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center.
And here comes a whole lot of rain.
And they want the players off the field because that lightning was really severe. I thought you said it was going to be 2 hours.
Well, it went fast. This seemed like a pretty good idea to start the game when they did, because they had a lot of time between raindrops. It's really coming down hard now.
Yeah. Boy, that tarp gets out there in a hurry.
It's a shame because I thought Jose Quintana had very good stuff on those first couple of pitches.
And
hopefully he brings it back with him after whatever rain delay this is.
Well, that's what you get for scheduling a night game on getaway day. If we had played this at 1 o'clock, we would have been in Chicago by now. But we're going to reciprocate because they come to us for a 2-game series, and both those games are night games.
Well, unfortunately, when you warm your pitcher up and then you have to wait because they, I'm sure, threw a few pitches before the game was delayed the first time. We'll just have to see how long this lasts. It doesn't appear that it's going to last all that long, but then again, looking at the radar, there's a lot of green and a lot of orange and a lot of yellow in the neighborhood of St. Louis.
Well, I didn't see him throw any pitches before the first game. I didn't see anybody warming up in that bullpen.
So they threw none at all.
But I'm going to check my radar out and see what it looks like. It really doesn't look that bad right now. But in a while, it's going to be very bad. So there's Bill Finley.
And he's looking at the same radar you're looking at right there. Looking over, explaining, you know, this kind of surprised me. Came up a little quicker than I thought.
Well, they said it was going to be some more. And if they... Eddie Casson was our director of travel, and we couldn't do without him. But I was asking him before we took the bus out to the ballpark. I said, Eddie, have you checked the radar? I said, I've checked mine. It doesn't look real good. He said, no, it's not going to be good at all. He said it's going to be 70% at 7 o'clock, 90% at 8 o'clock. So those aren't very good odds, very good numbers. I got a feeling if now it's starting to lighten up quite a bit, so just a quick burst of heavy rain. And we'll go over some scores for you while we're waiting for them to make a decision here. If you did not hear or did not see it, Carlos Carrasco of the Cleveland Indians had a no-hitter with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And unfortunately, Butler came to the plate. And as so often happens, the Butler did it. He got a base hit, broke it up. Carrasco still won the game, but ironically, he had a perfect game, and he walked Butler. So he took it a long way, 124 pitches worth before finally leaving after the base hit by Butler. Shot it right over Kipnis's head into right center field, scored the run. Indians still went on to win.
Well, Butler was swinging the bat very well against us.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So first time we had seen him. And top of the 9th inning in Detroit, Pirates leading the Tigers 9-2.
Pirates have 20 hits in that game.
Neil Walker has 4 of them. Alfredo Simon started. Last couple times out, he's been roughed up a little bit. Simon went 5 2/3, gave him 15 hits, 6 runs earned, had 7 strikeouts. Burnett and Hughes for the Buccos.
Kansas City was leading their game against Houston 3-0. That was before the Houston offense started to move into high gear, and Houston now leading 5-3.
Altuve 3 for 3. Chris Carter's 15th homer. Gonzalez hit his 5th. Both those coming off Edinson Volquez. As Gary Cederstrom, crew chief, evidently Bill Finley has told him this is probably not going to last very long. Cincinnati beat Minnesota 2-1 at the Great American Ballpark. Johnny Cueto against Trevor May. Aroldis Chapman picked up his 16th save. Yankees leading the Angels 3-1. And of course, if you did not hear, Angels have a new general manager.
Bill Stoneman was named as an interim general manager, as Jerry DiPoto, who had his problems with Mike Scioscia, decided that it was time for him to resign. He did that, and Bill Stoneman was the general manager in some very successful days. He brought the Angels a World Series championship in 2002. He's a very good executive, was a major league pitcher, understands both the business of the game and the game itself. He got along with Mike Scioscia very well.
And he's a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. And Mike Scioscia, I'm sure, in the middle of a 10-year, $50 million contract, will probably get along a lot better with Mr. Stoneman than he did with Mr. DiPoto.
One thing about Mike, if he's got a problem with somebody, he keeps it to himself.
He is a terrific manager, and he's done a great job with those Angels. They have a terrific owner in Artie Moreno.
What would be the over and under, not in days, but in hours, maybe even minutes,
if he came on the market?
If he came out on the market.
Well, the irony, the over-under is as long as he wants to be. If he decides he wants to be unemployed for about 5 minutes, and that's how long it would take, because there'd be a lot of teams in line to get Mike Scioscia, and the oddity is he does have an out at the end of this year. And so I don't believe that Artie Moreno wanted to see Mike Scioscia go anyplace else. He's been an excellent manager for him.
Well, there you go. That's probably not knowing what's going on. You don't know, yeah, and I don't know. But that's that out being there, looming there, I should say. And Artie, who wants to win out there, he spent some money. He probably didn't want Mike to exercise that option.
No, and I can understand that. If you've got a manager as good as Mike Scioscia, as successful as Mike Scioscia, then you want to keep him around.
Well, I can tell you this, that Bill Finley's radar is different than mine. Mine is showing we might have some big problems coming up. But they're taking the tarp off. Other scores. Toronto thumped Boston 11-2. Mark Burley 9-4 over Porcello. 11-16-0 for the Blue Jays, who will be coming to our place. When we get home, we have an off day tomorrow. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got Baltimore coming in for 3, Toronto for 4, and there are plenty of good seats available. So make your plans to be with us. And, of course, when Chris Sale goes out there, that'll be against the Blue Jays. He'll be going for history. He's already made history in tying Pedro Martinez with 8 consecutive starts with 10 or more strikeouts. He now is going to have a chance to be the only man in baseball history to have 9.
It's going to be a wonderful evening for the simple fact that you're watching one of the great pitchers in all of baseball at probably the height of his game. Not saying that he won't get any better than he is today. If he does, it's really going to be scary for the rest of the American League, because right now there are most of the times when he's pretty close to unhittable.
Well, I was talking with some of the coaches, Cardinal coaches, before the game down by the batting cage. I went down to watch Grichuk hit close up and personal, so to speak.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yes, very. The young man, I'll tell you, I don't see how in the world did somebody let him go. But anyway, I was talking with them, and they were asking me about Sale. And they said, Hawk, you've seen a lot of guys. Is that one of the best sliders you've ever seen? I said, well, you know, I was thinking about Sam McDowell, who this day had the 4 best pitches I've ever seen to this day. Threw over 100, had a curveball you can hear, a slider you can hear. And after thinking about it, I think Chris Sale had a better slider than McDowell's.
Well, Chris's slider, because he throws 3 different sliders, and because he gets them all over the plate and uses one as a wipeout, one as a get-me-over, one is kind of almost a change-up to get hitters out front. And then you combine it with the straight change that he has, which, number one, the motion is perfect. It comes out of the same release point as his fastball. He doesn't tip it off at all, so hitters can't sit back and wait for it because he has 97 in his back pocket a lot of the times, and it makes it very difficult to do a whole lot with him. Last night, against a team that was far and away the best home team in all of baseball, the Cardinals, he held them to just that 1 run. Grichuk seemed to wait very well on a straight change, hit it out of the ballpark, and that was it against Chris Sale. So when you strike out 12 of these Cardinals and you hold them to 1 run here, you deserve to get a win. Unfortunately, he got a no decision. The game was won later on by Tyler Flowers and his home run. So last night was a great game for the guys who really love baseball to watch one of the guys at the top of his game pitching against a very good baseball team and completely handcuffing.
Well, David Robertson had 1 strikeout, so we had 13 strikeouts against these guys. But the game last night, the irony of that was they had 14 against us. So they have taken the tarp in position now. And checking some other scores for you while they get the tarp on the roller. Yankees leading the Angels 3-1. That's in the bottom of the 9th. Betances, that big right-hander. He's on the bump. Top of the 11th inning. In New York, Cubs and the Mets are scoreless. 0-5-1 for the Cubs, 0-6-0 for the Mets. Bottom of the 4th down in Georgia, Atlanta hosting Washington. Braves leading 2-0. Dodgers 4, D-backs nothing. That's in the top of the 3rd in Phoenix. Miami beats the Giants 6-5 down in Florida. Baltimore doubles up Texas 4-2 at Oriole Park. And now the umpires are meeting out there by the mound. I don't know. I just get the feeling that if any more rain comes, they're going to bang this thing. You got to think about it. The field, did Roger Bossert design this field, the drainage system? Because it's unbelievable how fast.
They do a great job. What they did is they actually used part of the same drainage system from the old ballpark. And they have a couple of different drains out in back of shortstop and back of second base.
And left field, they've got one out there, and then right field, they've got one.
And they take it and they just pretty much squeegee all the water off the natural grass into these big drains. And the field, although certainly because it's grass, it is a little bit wet. it absorbs so much water and still playable.
Well, you know, those drains like that, though, can be dangerous. Those outfielders or infielders going back, you can get a spike caught in between there, and you have a chance to get an injury. But Quintana says he's ready to go, and if the crew will make their way off the field.
Well, they figure wiping off the bases will allow the players to see them better. So, having accomplished that with just one more bag to clean, and that's third base, we're ready to go.
And here is Carpenter. Or check that, Wong. Colton Wong. With a 1-1 count. He had 2 at-bats last night. And this young man looks like he has got a chance to be a pretty good hitter.
He's a very aggressive hitter.
There is a roller ripped into right field, so the leadoff man aboard.
Wong is from Hilo, Hawaii. And after a 14-minute rain delay, the first pitch is a breaking ball that doesn't do a whole lot. You see the high leg kick by Wong, and he drives it into right field. So the 2 guys who did not play against Chris Sale, Wong and Carpenter, are 1 and 2 in the batting order.
So here's Carpenter at 279, 8 homers and 37 knocked in. Wong, decent lead. And let's take another look. Look at the size. Look at this leg kick by Colton Wong. This to me is almost absolutely picture perfect. You're getting hang time. You can adjust. You're hitting off the fastball, but that gives you hang time to adjust hitting a breaking ball or a change. He also is 6 for 10 in stolen bases. Cardinals are 30 for 49 in that category.
This is not the usual Cardinal team in that respect, because the Cardinals usually raise very fast players out of their minor league system. This is not a particularly fast team. Best base runner, Jason Hayward, and he's out of the Atlanta organization.
No, when Whitey Herzog was here, they would run you right out of the ballpark. Willie McGee and those guys. Woo. Vinny. They would run you right out of the ballpark. There's a white rat.
It's starting to rain again, by the way.
Carpenter pinch hit last night and walked. Outfield straight up bunched a bit. And a good lead by Wong, as there is a strike. Long look in. This is one thing that he does, especially from the stretch. It takes a lot of time and is much more effective out of the windup. He gets it and throws it a lot quicker. That last, even though it was only 14 minutes long, that last tarp covering of the field, that a lot of people left. Well, they had 45,626 last night.
Well, one of the things that they're looking at is the same thing you're looking at when they look at the radar. They know that that's not the last of the rain coming. Three and one to count. Trevor Rosenthal is the closer and apparently the mop-up man.
Full count. Matt, 29 years old. Last year hit 272, 8 homers, and 59 knocked in. Johnny Peralta waits on deck. There he goes. And that ball hit hard into center field. We got a man there. One down. Here's Peralta having another good season at 298, 11 homers, and 40 driven in.
One thing he doesn't do very well is run. And of course, with his heavy footing, it's going to be worse. But he's grounded into 11 double plays this year, and that gives him the team lead.
Takes ball one. That's up high. Couldn't get that one. That one at 92.
This is not the easiest ballpark to hit a home run. You've got to get it out. 2 home runs hit last night were both blasts.
Well, that's the thing I can't understand, because the distances here, and you got a low fence. Distances here are not big at all. 335 down the line, so to speak, 336 in left field, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. And they have hit some monumental home runs in this ballpark. Yep. That's trouble. They're going to wave Wong around. Here's the throw. Good throw. Doesn't get it. If he throws it all the way, they're probably going to get it. Meanwhile, it's 1-0. And we talked about Jose out of the stretch. Takes a lot of time, and he has a lot of problems.
That throw was just off the mark and just pulled Tyler away from the plate enough for Wong to score. Jose Oquendo is a very aggressive third base coach, and he takes a gamble knowing that it's going to be a wet baseball that's going to be thrown, and that has to factor into it. Cabrera's going to get to the ball. The ball's going to be very wet when it gets to him, and by the time it gets to Alexi, it's not getting any drier.
RBI number 41, double number 19 for Peralta, and here's Mark Reynolds at 236, 5 homers, and 26 driven in. Outfield for the most part straight up, small gap in left center. Reynolds has faced Quintana 12 times, has 3 hits, 2 of which stayed in the park. Yeah, when they say it's not an easy park to hit home runs in, it just mystifies me because of the distances and the low fence.
For some reason, especially when it's cooler, the ball just doesn't travel here.
Well,
especially dies in the gap.
Well, that's different. That home run last night, Grichuk hit was 448 feet. The one that Tyler hit was a line drive that went 431 feet.
Yeah, they're going out anywhere. But as a rule, this not the easiest place to hit them. Had a good rip at that one underneath it.
Well, I know in the Kansas City situation, the old ballpark, the Municipal Stadium on 22nd and Brooklyn, the distances were huge. 356 down the left field line with a 22-foot wall, 401 in left center with a 22-foot wall, 427 in center with a 27-foot wall, and yet the ball just jumped out of there.
Doesn't jump out of the new ballpark.
That's what I'm saying, and they're only like a few miles apart. Count hangs at 2-2. Cardinals with a quick strike here in the bottom of the first inning.
Peralta's only tried to steal 2 bases.
That's too many.
He doesn't run real well. Jose is looking back a number of times at him.
He gone. Chases one way up out of the zone. So here's Randall Grichuk, 3 for 5 last night. Comes in at, there's numbers, 284, 7 and 21. Just 23 years old. That's set up a lot like Jason Kipnis of the Indians. Angle of that bat laid back. Bobby Thompson, former Giant who hit the famous home run. As the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. When he beat Brooklyn, Ralph Blanca, Bobby used to lay his bat off a lot like that. That was the way back when machine. Close pitch, didn't get it.
Richard came over as a throw-in into Peter Borges' deal. They came from the Angels in exchange for David Freese and Fernando Salas. That was November 22nd of 2013, and one of the better deals for these Cardinals. When Matt Holliday comes back, and they're hoping to get him back sometime before the All-Star break, the Cardinals figured that Grichuk is going to be their everyday center fielder, because Holliday is going to give them a lot of pop in the middle of this lineup, something they are definitely missing these days.
He gone. But they pick up a quick one, and after one, it is 1-0 Cardinals. game using the hashtag White Sox Talk, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at CSN White Sox. In the break right there in between innings, Bill Finley, the head groundskeeper, was out with Gary Cedarstrom. They were looking at the radar once again.
Just a question of when, not if it's coming. It's one of the reasons why it would behoove the boys to score a couple of runs.
A pretty good pitch. He didn't get it. Like he just looking in. He wanted that. 2-0 the count. I'll be hitting at 269 and a 3-0 count. Avi 1 for 5 last evening. Ball hit hard, but slicing foul into the seats. So a full count. And another souvenir right side. Final from Detroit. Pirates beat the Tigers 9-3. 9-21-1 for the Buccos. 3-11-2 for the Tigers. Kansas City has come back to tie Houston at 5. That's in the bottom of the 7th. Down at the juice box. Another good rip underneath it. And that is ball 4. So the leadoff man.
White Sox fans celebrate the 4th of July at the ballpark with great food and ticket deals. Get Vienna beef hot dogs for $1 and lower level seats starting at $17.76 in honor of our nation's birthday. For tickets, visit whitesox.com.
So here's Gillespie hitting at 250, 3 homers, 15 knocked in. And he takes
that was
a good pitch.
That was a real good pitch, and I think Lackey's getting a little frustrated with Quinn Wolcott. That one had the whole plate. Take a look at Menard's pitch tracks.
Yadier now talking to Wolcott.
Well, even though Yadier wanted the ball away, that ball still had the whole plate.
Could not check it up. He did go. Barksdale, who had a good game behind the plate last night.
Went around well too far on that.
There he goes. Safe. So Avi picks up his 4th stolen base.
Pretty good throw by Molina, but a very good jump by Avi. The tag was high on the knee. and the foot was in before the tag.
Now the count 1-2, so he's just got to try to make contact up there, does Gillespie. And that'll get the job done. So a good at bat for Connor. That'll bring up Alexei. Alexei hitting at .212, 2 homers, 26 knocked in. He was 0 for 5 last evening, so now the Cardinals going to bring the infield in. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. Small gap out there in right center. And he takes it on the outside corner to knees.
Reynolds is way off the line at first base. He's plugging up what normally is the hole between first and second baseman.
Checks it up, almost a blueprint of the first pitch. Once again, a little glance in from Lackey. Out and around it. And advantage goes to Lackey at 1-2. Easy to lay off that one.
Alexei doesn't need a base hit. All he needs is a fly ball. Anything on it, Javi scores.
Well, we've just been having a lot of trouble getting a man in from third base this year.
Alexei has 5 sacrifice flies.
We had the bases loaded last night. Nobody out. Couldn't score. But overall this season, we have been really having problems moving a guy from second with nobody out over the third and getting him in from third with less than 2 out. And that's ball 4. Second walk of the inning, and here comes Tyler. And if you missed that game last night, top of the 11th inning and a 1-1 tie.
That fastball at 89 miles an hour got out of the park in a hurry. That was Tyler's 6th of the year, his 17th driven in, and a game winner.
Took that pitch nicely. Another close pitch. Goes our way. 1-0 St. Louis here in the top of the second. If you're just tuning in, we've had 2 rain delays, one an hour and 49 minutes and the other just 14 minutes. Two and 0. Two and 1.
That was a high slider. Perfect pitch which to hit a sacrifice fly. Unfortunately, Tyler fouled it back. See this one, about 82 miles an hour, right up in the eyes, Tyler Flowers. Lexi's been the best base stealer on his team. 8 out of 10 in stolen bases.
Just a decent lead. And Giacomo. We just have a lot of trouble getting a man in from third with less than 2 outs.
Miller Lite.
One nothing St. Louis here in the bottom of the second inning.
And rain is starting to come down a little bit more insistent.
According to my radar, we got no chance to get this game in. I mean, it's just ugly. But we're going to come home tonight and start a 3-game series in a 7-game homestand starting Friday against the Baltimore Orioles. We're going to have Johnny Danks against Ubaldo Jimenez. On Saturday, Jeff Samardzija against Chris Tillman. And on Sunday, Chris Sale. And now they're going to get the tarp out again. Chris Sale against to be announced for the Orioles. And plenty of good tickets are available for that series and also the series against Toronto. And there's a chance they're going to talk about it, that Carlos Rodon will make that start on Sunday. But if he doesn't, it'll be Chris Sale.
Well, what Robin talked about before the game was that Chris responds so well to the occasional extra day. He comes out, not that he hasn't thrown great, because he has, but it's just that he gets a little bit extra if he gets one more day of rest occasionally. And this might be an opportunity to do just that.
Well, they did a good job in bringing and nursing Chris Sale along when he first came up.
Yes, they did.
And they're going to do, their man right there knows what he's doing, Don Cooper. He knows exactly what he's doing. So now the umpires are going to, 3 of them are going to go back inside. Gary Cederstrom still on the outside and again.
Well,
wow.
This certainly isn't going to do Jose Quintana any good, but he's going to have to deal with it, and Cederstrom is still standing out in the rain.
Nor is it going to do John Lackey any good. Yeah, it's just backed up, and it's just coming. It is big. Wow. Bill Finley, his job is to get that field in shape, and also with the team leading 1-0, to try to talk the umpires into sticking around.
Well, there's
for
no
a
doubt
while.
about it. He's telling Gary, look, I know it feels like it's raining hard, but really, it's not. This is Berga. It's not really raining all that hard.
It's going to really ease up in just a little while.
There's no doubt there's a window coming, and I do believe that we can probably get this one in the not too distant future.
Well, these umpires have been around, Sir Gary and those guys. They've been around long enough to know which groundskeepers will set them straight and which will try to BS them. They rely very heavily on Roger Bossard at home. Now, Gary is not going to the umpire's room. He's going someplace else. Maybe he is. All right, another rain delay. We're going to resume play. Yadier Molina will lead it off for the Cardinals. It is 1-0 St. Louis. Molina comes in hitting at .291, a couple of homers. He's driven in 26. Yadier was 1 for 5 last evening. Has that ball into right field. Watch out, Javier. Watch out. Makes the catch, and that's out number 1. Well, that right there is a perfect indication of what scares me with these, for both teams, not just our guys, is when you got to be going hard as you can and you hit that warning track.
Well, there's no doubt that although the field is a lot drier than you would think at this point, right there is not dry at all. And Avi makes the catch, has plenty of room to finally slow down before making contact with that railing.
So a 16-minute delay, and that's low and away. Jason Hayward. Jason 1 for 4 last inning. 25-year-old outfielder. That evens the count.
Jason had a couple of pretty good at-bats against Chris Sale. He did stay in there and battled him pretty well. Not an easy thing because he was the only left-hander in the lineup, as you would expect. Chris forces a lot of people to juggle their lineup and take the left-handers out.
And until that home run by Grichuk leading off the 4th inning, he had the only ball hit hard, a line shot to center field. On his way to second base, here's a throw. It's off the mark. And the ball gets away. Good job. Good job by Tyler to block it.
Well, again,
and then control it.
Yeah, one of the things to bear in mind, and this is one of the reasons why all the guys who can run will run, is you're getting a baseball that's soaking wet by the time you go and make the throw. It's almost inconceivable that you're going to make a throw on the money. And although Avi got to the ball quickly, and you see Hayward going up and getting a high fastball, somewhat surprising because most left-handers won't get up there to get it. Avi got to the ball quickly, but he's getting a soaked baseball, and the throw is way off the mark.
Hayward's got some good top hand. He just showed you right there. So the 1-out double, that's his 16th, and here's Peter Borges. Borges 1 for 4 last night, hitting at .250, a couple of homers. He's driven in 8. Pretty good rip at that one. You know, we're talking about how it affects certain pitchers. I've played with pitchers who didn't bother them at all. 3 or 4 times, 2 or 3 times, like a horse. Some of them, very seldom you see a horse with more than 1 run in him, but I've seen other guys, I've played with other guys who second time out, no, they won't even go. They won't even try it.
Some guys don't feel real comfortable with a wet field.
No. 0-2 the count. Too high. One 3-0 for them. No runs, no hits, no errors for us. But we had a man on first and third. 1 out and a double play. It's uncanny when we hit into those double plays.
Well, in many instances, needing just a fly ball. And you can't get it out of the infield.
Hayward 8 for 9 on stolen bases. Carlos hanging out around second. He gone. 2 down.
Threw a fastball the upper part of the zone, and he just threw it right by Borges, who has not had a particularly good series.
So here's Lackey. He is 2 for 24 on the season with an RBI. Outfield short, swung well around to the right. Pretty good rip at that. Pretty good rip at that. Meanwhile, the count 1-2. A little too low. Off the glove. Leslie's got time. And that'll retire the side. So he pitches over the 1-out double by Jason Hayward. We'll go to the third, trailing 1-0. Show on CSN Chicago. It's hosted by David Kaplan and Chicago Tribune writer David Hall. It's the only AM sports talk TV show in town, so don't miss the Kaplan Hall Show. Presented by Horwitz and Associates. That's weekday mornings at 9 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Now we'll see how John Lackey deals with all the delays, and he thought for a minute he was going to get a base hit as Jose deflected that ball, so Lackey seemed to turn it on a bit going to first base. We'll see if that affects him.
Sanchez, Quintana, then back to the top of the order with Adam Eaton. First pitch strike. Carlos hitting at 165. He's 1 for 5 last night. Tries to bunt it. And it's going foul.
Not a bad idea. With a wet baseball and all, unfortunately, on the wrong side of the line.
There's a base hit. So the leadoff man aboard for the second straight inning.
That's third pitch in a row on the outside part of the plate. And Carlos takes it right by Peralta. Doesn't have great range, and he's going to have less range on this particular field tonight.
Joe McEwing comes down to tell Jose Quintana. Now you got Matt Carpenter in on the grass at third. And you got Mark Reynolds, who will be charging at first.
Time now for AT&T Uverse Multiview.
Draws it back, takes the strike, and now 0-2 the count. And that's out number one.
First strikeout of the night for John Lackey.
Here's Adam. Adam got it out to Johnny Peralta at short. Fouls that one back. First and 30. Pops him up.
Join the White Sox for a night of music and dance as we celebrate Polish Heritage Night at U.S. Cellular Field. The White Sox are offering specially priced tickets to the Polish community and their friends. The first 750 people to purchase will also receive a Polish night hat. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/PHN.
Good rip by Abreu.
He hit the ball pretty well the first time up, but Reynolds was playing well off the line, and what normally is a base hit, Reynolds caught.
Yeah, he hit a rocket at him.
There's the Chicago fan section, a small but spunky band.
Breaking ball out in front, and very quickly to count 0-2. Outfield swung around to the right. Carpenter way back and one step off the line at third. He's not going to let that ball get by him. He's going to give Richard a little protection by standing right on that line. That's how third baseman can really help a left fielder. Pretty good lead by Carlos. And a good eye.
Jose having a nice conversation with Yadier Molina. And you can see it's a bit tacky around the mound.
Ate him up inside. That'll do it. It's still 1-0 Cardinals.
Baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code ShySox.
We'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on F&B Communications in Wheatland, Iowa.
Top of the order here in their half of the third inning. Wong, Carpenter, Peralta. Run on 3 hits for their guys, no runs on 1 hit for our guys.
Colton Wong was a beneficiary of a 14-minute delay. And then the first pitch was rolled to him, and he roped it into right field.
And came around to score on a double by Peralta. That ball hit hard in the center, but we got a man there. That young man can hit. Whew. He looks good up there at the plate.
The one problem he had was the footwork at second base. His defense, and that was giving him some trouble. They've worked with him. He's gotten a whole lot better at it. He still has not had what you would consider a great defensive year. 9 errors so far in 75 games, but he's a terrific offensive player who's getting better. And there's a look at Jose Kendo, the man who works with the infielders. Was a fine infielder himself for a lot of years.
You got Jose Altuve at Houston, who's listed at 5'6". Wong listed at 5'9". That's why baseball is such a great sport. They come in all sizes and shapes. You don't have to be a big guy to play baseball. Checks it up, and he takes the strike. Carpenter lined out hard to Adam Eaton. 0-2 the count. Jose making his 16th start.
Most of which have been pretty good starts. He usually keeps the ball club in the game and has a habit over the last 2.5 years of throwing quality starts probably 70-75% of the time.
Melky is there, makes the catch in fair territory, and that is out number 2. Well, we talked about Quintana. Some of the things that are outstanding about him is that no decisions since in Major League Baseball since 2012. He leads with 44. The next highest is 5 back. That's James Shields and then Mike Leake. Zach Greinke with 38. Samardzija with 38. Kyle Loesch and Matt Latos with 37. But he leads everybody. Quality starts leaders since 2012. Left-handed pitchers. David Price on top with 78. Chris Sale 75. C.J. Wilson is there's a line drive. Come on. Can't make it right. If Walter does not run well, he will pull it up with the single. So he's 2 for 2.
Well, you're just not going to be able to get real quick starts on this outfield grass tonight. And this is a sinking line drive. Melky comes on, but this ball lands in front of him. He actually does a nice job of making sure it doesn't get by him all that far. Fortunately, it tips off the glove, and Peralta can't go to second base. And Melky put on the brakes, and hopefully his back is okay.
So here's Mark Reynolds. He struck out swinging on a high fastball. But in quality starts from left-handed pitchers in the major leagues since 2012, Quintana is 5th. 5th. Behind Price, Sale, Wilson, John Lester, then Quintana, then Jason Vargas. So he's in some pretty good company. Outfield, straight up, a little bit of a gap in left center. As he chases another one upstairs. That has been a pitch that Mark Reynolds has had trouble his whole career in the American League of laying off on.
It's also been a pitch that Jose Quintana has pretty much mastered as he's gotten to be a better pitcher, changing eye levels.
Pops that one back, and that's into the seats. Well, you don't get in the company of the guys I just mentioned by night, for the most part, having what you call a go-to pitch.
I think Don Cooper helped him a lot, because when he started, we saw him start and make that appearance at Yankee Stadium. He was very much glove side strong, meaning he could throw inside to right-handers, he could throw away to left-handers, and that's where he stayed.
Yes, he did. He gone. 4th strikeout for Jose, but we trail it 1-0.
July 17th through the 19th. Arrive early on Saturday, July 18th to see your favorite 2005 World Series champions parade around the field. Presented by your local Ford stores. Together, we'll go further. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/promos.
Melky. First pitch, fouled away left side. 1-1 to count. Melky grounded out to Wong at second base. Good pitch inside. Only thing he could do was yank it foul, and that's what he did. If you're just joining us, we've had 3 rain delays. One, the longest, was an hour and 49. Then we had a 14-minute and then a 16-minute. Peralta. One out.
One of the things that the Cardinals thought when they got Peralta was they realized that he didn't have the greatest range. However, they felt, and they very much depend on defensive metrics to position their players, and they felt with the metrics that they use that he would actually probably be 10 to 15% better in the field. And it's pretty much worked out that way because, as we've seen this evening, he's been in front of a whole lot of ground balls, knowing the propensity of John Lackey and where he's going to throw it.
Johnny has always had good hands if he can get to it. His range has always been short, and it'll never be big.
No, but he's a
But Baltimore had a shortstop for a long time that didn't have much range, and he was in front of everything that was hit that way. And there's a chopper up the middle, base hit. And of course, that guy's name was Cal Ripken Jr. So Avi has walked, stole a base, now single. But going back to finish your thought on Quintana when you were talking about Coop really helped him.
Yeah, because he was glove side strong, meaning that he would throw inside to right-handers, he would throw outside to left-handers, and that was where he would stay most of the time. And Don said if you're going to win in the major leagues, you're going to have to keep the ball away to right-handers at times. And if you do go in, you can go in down with your slider. Doesn't really help you to go in down with your fastball very much. If you're going to go in up. And so he changed him around a bit, and Jose's become just a terrific pitcher. So a little fly ball lifted to left field. No problem at all for Grichuk, who's got a very good arm. And so there's 2 outs.
And here's Alexei. Alexei walked back in the second inning. We only have 1 hit. So check that, 2 hits now that Avi just singled. First one was by Sanchez leading off last inning. Takes it out on the inside edge of the inside corner. Indeed, it does look like that front has moved south. That ball hit into right field. Watch out. And it's foul.
Well, Hayward did a good job of getting down, and he got down just in time as that ball sliced into the seats. There's not much room between the line and the wall. Hayward has had a magnificent year defensively. He sees that the wall is coming up. He gets a little lucky in that it's really easy to sprain your ankle or break your ankle doing just that.
Two out, 0-2 the count to Alexei. Peralta's got him. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. It is still 1-0 Cardinals.
Chicago data strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Also a reminder, extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place, so don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. Voting for the Midsummer Classic ends on Friday, so make sure you get your last votes in to see your favorite players in the game. Grichuk, Molina, and Hayward. Grichuk struck out his first two. Sanchez. And here's the fan favorite here in St. Louis, Yadier Molina, who fouled out Javi in right field.
Well, yesterday kind of exemplified the way Molina goes about his business. He didn't have the ball out of the infield for first 4 at bats, and then he got his base hit in the 11th. It put 2 men on, and fortunately, it wasn't enough. But he did get a hit late, which is something he usually does.
Give me those guys that can hit in the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
He's been able to do that
his whole career
for a long time.
Well, even when he was not as good a hitter, that's hard through the middle.
That one almost took Jose with it in the center field.
But even when he wasn't that good a hitter, he did his hitting in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. His brothers were the same way. Benji
Jose.
And Jose.
That was a line drive back up the middle. Fortunately, Jose was able to get under it.
Hayward doubled into right center. And that's going to be souvenir time. Very short lead by Yadier.
With the lead of Molina at first base, he could just fall back on the bag and he wouldn't get picked off. And because he is no threat at all to steal a base. Although there was a time when he actually could run. In fact, back in 2012, he stole 12 bases. Those days are gone.
Pretty good pitch to hit right there. It was just a roller. He couldn't do anything with it.
They gave up a pretty good pitcher in the deal for Jason Hayward. It was Shelby Miller, who's having a very good year with Atlanta. But St. Louis is happy with that deal. It's given them what they really needed, a left-handed guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark and hit it well and play exceptional defense.
Well, with Holiday and Adams, a couple other guys, they've still got an upside left to this ball club.
Holiday's going to come back in the not too distant future.
Adams might not.
No, not this year.
Talking to Adams before the game, he said hopefully before the end of the season, but if not, they got to get it fixed.
Yep.
Got a bad quad. He gone. 2 down.
Tyler wants that slider low and away, and that's exactly where Jose throws it. As you can see, he opened up very quickly, and even with his long arms, he could not catch up with it. And now the rain is coming again, although to this point, not all that hard.
Always looks harder on TV.
It does.
Borges takes first pitch strike. He was a strikeout victim. And Tana has 5. If you're just tuning in, his first strikeout victim, Mark Reynolds, back in the first inning, was number 500 in his career.
There's some very prepared fans. He was 25 when this game started.
Yeah, in the dirt.
That one was way in front of the plate. And Tyler did the best he could possibly do, but no chance at all as Molina moves to second. Good effort by Tyler Flowers, because he was able to angle his body and hit in the middle of the chest protector, bounded so far away that it went between the legs of Borges and he couldn't get to it.
Avi Short in right field. 1-2 pitch. That's the final now from Houston. Astros beat Kansas City 6-5. He gone. And that'll retire the side. 6 strikeouts now, and we're into the 5th, trailing 1-0.
fireworks show presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Top of the fifth inning. We trail it 1-0. It'll be Flowers, Sanchez, and Quintana. Tyler hit into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second. And there's a sharp single to right field to start it off.
He got a first pitch fastball that was on the outer portion, and this one he drilled by Wong at second.
Carlos picked up our first hit, leading off the third inning. A sharp single in the hole between third and short. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. Nice pick right there by Reynolds, but the bobble's going to cost him getting the lead man. Ball was hit hard.
I think he was betwixt and between what he wanted to do with that. He was thinking about throwing to second and then just dropped the ball and had no play. He had a very bad angle anyway, and he looks out at John Lackey and says, my fault. Would have been a tough play because he just didn't have a chance as a right-handed thrower to get much of an angle to get it over Tyler's shoulder.
Jose struck out trying to bunt back in the third after Sanchez had let it off with that single. Atlanta beat Washington 4-1. A.J. Pierzynski with a 2-run homer put the Braves on top of the Nasty Nats. Two down.
But Jose taking the philosophy that you might as well swing hard in case you hit something. And he has yet to have a hit in the major leagues. Chris Sale got his first hit and almost his second hit and run batted in last night's game.
Pick him up, Adam. Twice he has gone out to Peralta, once on the ground, once in the air. And yes, there's the base hit. No throw, and this game is tied at 1. Attaboy, Adam. Now that little bobble jumps up and bites him. But as Steve mentioned, it would have been a tough play because of the angle.
He throws a changeup, and it's down and out of the zone, but Adam able to get it off the end of the bat. And no play at the plate, as Borges realizing if he does throw through, he's not going to get him, and Adam Eaton probably takes off and goes to second.
So here is Jose. He is lined very hard to Reynolds at first and struck out.
Adam tried to get a very good jump. The only problem, John Lackey had not delivered the baseball yet.
There's a little slippage over there. That's what we're talking about at field. If you're just tuning in, it rained in that first rain delay, an hour and 49 minutes. It's hard as I've ever seen it rain anywhere, anytime.
Looked like his foot slipped off the bag and then just kept on going on a wet surface.
So that field is wet. Oh, 1-1. Oh, he had a cookie right there and pops it up. But base hit by Adam Eaton. Knocks in Flowers, and we are halfway home, tied at 1. John Lackey will lead it off. Then back to the top of the order with Colton Wong and Matt Carpenter. 1-4-0 for us. 1-5-0 for them. First pitch strike. One and two. He gone. 7 strikeouts now. 1 down, and that'll bring up Wong.
Third strikeout in a row, and this one looking.
Long has single, scored, line shot into right field for a base hit. Scored on a double by Peralta, and then in the third inning, fly deep to center field.
Well, he didn't get quite the pitch he wanted to bunt. That ball was face high, maybe a little higher. Jose has thrown strikes 70% of the time in first pitch strikes, which is a big statistic, 13 of 19. You can see he's had very good control tonight with no walks, with those 7 strikeouts.
Ball and 2 strikes. 24-year-old second baseman.
He can throw the same pitch in the same place. The way Wong keeps his hands, he's not going to be able to catch up to that.
Right underneath his hands. Almost any hitter. Checks it up. He did not go. Jammed him, ate him up, and Alexi is there. Good pitch. Right underneath his hand. Carpenter is lined hard to center, and he is popped up. First pitch strike.
Under the conditions, not a very bad total. When you consider there's 7 strikeouts.
That's way down. 2 balls and a strike. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Softly hit. Another good pitch right underneath the hands. And we have finished 5. We're tied at 1. popular game show where the fans test their sports trivia knowledge and try to win big beer money. Sunday at 7, right here on Comcast Sports. Melky takes first pitch strike. Cabrera twice is grounded out. Once the second, once the short. And the count evens at 1. Goes through that one at 90. That ball hit hard into right field. Stretch! Stretch! He looks up. You can put it on the board! Yes! A line drive, and the Sox lead it 2-1.
Third home run of the year, 27th driven in. And Melky took one down. This ball is out of the strike zone, and he hits it out of the park. Ford home run replay. It's a breaking ball, a little curve ball that didn't have a whole lot of break to it, and Melky went down. And a Ford home run replay shows you that didn't make it by much, but certainly enough.
So David Novak's pick to click. All the good folks at Pookie Hyundai and Downers Grove. Melky Cabrera. Of course, with that home run, the Alex Nelius family will make another donation to White Sox charities in loving memory of Ursula. Fastball up, out over the plate. That's good. Not barrel it up.
It was just the 8th home run given up by John Lackey in 103 innings of work.
Got him. Good pitch.
John Lackey throws a lot of strikes also, and a lot of first pitch strikes. Only 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. And he's been pretty effective, but he finds himself trailing for the first time tonight.
Gillespie has grounded out and popped up. That's foul. 0-2. And that 4-1 Brave victory over Washington. Whistler the winner, Pfister the loser. Really saved number 22. Mentioned the Marlins beat San Francisco 6-5. Cishik over Casilla. Near the soft grounder to second. 2 down. Here's Alexei, a walk and a fielder's choice. Now field for the most part straight up, and there's a shot, fair ball. So he's on his way to second base, and he will get there with his 14th two-bagger.
This one rifled by Carpenter. It's a slow breaking ball. And Lackey is starting to leave a few of those up and losing a whole lot of break Is that one very much a fair ball? Lance Barksdale makes a call, and Alexi has a double.
Here's Flowers. He's 1 for 2. A single and a run scored. Don't stop now, boys. Come on, Tyler. Lays off that one low and away. Tyler with that big home run, top of the 11th inning last night. 431-foot line drive. Talking to Gio. Sanchez on deck.
Looks to me this inning like John Lackey is feeling the effects of 3 rain delays and a long evening because his stuff is not near as crisp.
Well, Tyler got a cookie right there and couldn't do anything with it. That one at 80, right down the middle. Oh, 2 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But the home run by Melky Cabrera leading off here in the top of the 6th inning. And the good guys lead it 2-1.
With Colton Wong aboard, Johnny Peralta comes up and takes it right down the line. Wong beats the play at the plate with a good slide. And at the time, it made it 1-0. Man's on the edge of his seat.
Well, he's gone through 3 rain delays too.
He has that.
So here's Peralta, that RBI double and also a hard single as he takes low ball 1. Reynolds on deck, Grichuk in the hole. Two 6-0 for us, 1 5-0 for them. Make a good throw. $41,696. At 45,626 last night, but the reason for the small crowd this evening is just too much bad forecast.
A real small crowd.
Yeah.
It's a shame when they can't pull in a whole lot of folks.
I know it. That forecast scared them away. Only do the 41,696. Reynolds twice has struck out. Once on a high fastball. And then a check swing on a curveball. Melky is deep in left. Eaton is straight up in center. And the count evens at 1. That ball hit hard. Stay up. No, it gets by him. Slips. So he's on his way to third. Back him up. Yeah, we talked about the slippage that was going to happen in this game, and it's happened twice to Adam.
That time he just lost his footing completely and could not knock the ball down. What a one-run game. Reynolds winds up at third. He got a pitch that was up and away and went right with it. Hit it hard. Hadn't had a triple in a while.
So now corners in close. Second and short and a little closer than halfway. Grichuk fouls it away. He is struck out, popped up to second. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it. 1-1 to count. And the count 1-2. Too high. Tyler wanted it up there a little too much. He gone. Big strikeout. 2 down.
Strikeout number 8, and this is the high fastball that Tyler wanted. He just barely got a piece of it. It stuck in the glove, and Grichuk goes down on strikes. And now causing a meeting at the mound because you got to get by one of their toughest hitters with the tying run 90 feet away.
Boy, that high one just underneath the hands on the inside corner to Grichuk. Perfect pitch. So here comes Coop.
Hey, White Sox fans, for great seats, get to StubHub, where there are no surprise fees at checkout. On StubHub, the price you see is the price you pay. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of ChicagoWhiteSox.com. John Cooper probably talking about the fact that you got a left-hander in the on-deck circle in Hayward, and last time he looked real bad on a slider. So be very careful with the man that a lot of people think is the best clutch hitter on this team, Yadier Molina.
Well, if you had to pick one guy on this team, get a base hit for your life, it'd be Yadier.
Yeah, this would be the guy.
Well, he got a good pitch for him. Fastball up out over the plate. Had the barrel on it, but underneath it. Thank goodness. That ball was obvious short out there in right field. That ball was headed towards right center if he hit it. High into center field. That is a can of corn. And that'll do it. So he pitches over the triple, the one-out triple by Mark Reynolds, and we're into the 7th.
Fantasy baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code ShySox.
Time to get some more runs, boys, some more points. Sanchez will lead it off. He's 1 for 2. Emilio Bonifacio has come out to hit for Quintana. First pitch strike.
Zach Putnam loosening in the pen, and what a job Jose Quintana did. Gave up that early run, and then that was it. Pitched out of some very difficult jams. In fact, he only had 1-1-2-3 inning, that coming in the 5th. Other than that, it was not easy sailing.
That ball hit hard into center field, but Gorgeous, 1 out.
Sox fans, join us on Saturday, July 18th at 1:10 as your White Sox take on the Royals. The first 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a 2005 World Series replica ring presented by Miller Lite. That's the original Light Pilsner and official beer of your Chicago White Sox. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/promos.
First ball hunting, a little 3-hopper. Wong. Quintana, one of the most underrated, under the radar left-handers in the game of baseball. He is one of the best left-handers in the game.
He's been that way for a long time, but because the record never really jumps out at you, everybody just takes him for granted. Yet he goes out game after game after game, and gives you a big effort.
There's a good chance. Not that we can't win this ball game because we're leading 2-1. But there's a good chance they're going to tie it up. He's going to get another no decision. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
He leads the big leagues by far in no decisions since 2012. Adam with an RBI single, a big 2-out RBI single, knocking in our first run in the 5th inning to tie it up. I mean, all Quintana does is go out there and just absolutely, he's not afraid to pitch out of jams.
Well, tonight, with all of the rain problems and the slick mound and everything he had to deal with, he still fanned 8, didn't walk anybody, gave up 1 run in 6 innings on 6 hits.
Well, one of the best deals that Kenny Williams made. He made a lot of them, but that right there is one of the best he made. Kenny said he just loved him. He got him, and now we're seeing the fruits of that trade. I mean, just pickup, I should say. The one thing, the Yankees are kicking themselves in the butts.
Well, I would say at this point the Yankees could certainly use him.
There's not a team in baseball couldn't use Jose Quintana. Chops it foul. Back through the middle. Bullet.
Second hit. And fortunately for Lackey, he departed the mound on a follow through because that little slider, which didn't do much, was shot right back up the middle.
Well, talking to some Cardinal people, even though he's 6-4 with a nice 3.35, they said that slider's been giving him a lot of problems.
It hasn't been particularly good tonight.
Still, he's only given up 2 runs.
Seth Maness throwing into pen. We saw him last night, and he was pretty impressive. Good sinker, good changeup.
That changeup was really good.
Yep.
Jose is lined very hard to Reynolds at first, struck out, and then popped up to short. Breaking ball. Throws him. Comes back and grabs the inside corner. Pretty good just to get a piece of that one. Too close to take.
A lot of pitches on a night where it was difficult to pitch because of the elements.
Got him upstairs at 91. And seventh inning stretch, we lead it 2-1.
.386 on for the 28th time. 11 walks, but 40 strikeouts in 25 2/3. When the splitter is working, he's very tough, and he's got to deal with the bottom third of the order. It's Hayward, Borges, and no doubt a pinch hitter for John Lackey. We'll just have to see who that is as we move along.
So here's Hayward. First pitch strike. Right on the outside edge of the corner. Very quickly to count 0-2.
Zach Duke loosening up in the pen.
He gone. One down.
This one is a real good splitter. That ball just dove out of the zone, and Hayward with no chance. Strikeout victim for the second time.
So here's Borges. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. And he takes first pitch strike. Outfield, they're bunched straight up. About equidistant. Melky a little deep out there and left as he should be, especially with the footing the way it is.
Segrist loosening up in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Hard throwing left-hander.
Two and one to count. Cannot lay off of it.
There's a look at Kevin Segrist. He's not their situational left-hander because Mike Matheny will use him against anybody, but he actually gets right-handers out better than he does the lefties.
Count goes full to the speedy Peter Borges.
It's Mike Matheny, David Bell, his bench coach next to him, the son of our Buddy Bell. There's a look at David to the right of Mike Matheny.
Peter out and around that one, hooks it foul.
A little tardy on that swing as he realized it was going to be strike three. Pretty much took it out of Tyler's glove. Borges very fast, but not the best base stealer around as he's swiped 4, been gunned down 6 times, and Greg Garcia comes out to pinch hit. Garcia hitting an even .500. He's only been to bat 10 times, however. 3 for 5 as a pinch hitter with a homer and a run batted in.
And Avi short out there in right field. Borges, decent lead. Oh, yeah, nice stop right there by Jose. Where his speed, though, is, if it's a gap at all, you can forget about it.
Fortunately, he was able to corral that one.
Out and around that one. No balls and a strike to Garcia. A little bigger lead. And the count now 0-2. Garcia, 25 years old. .279 minor league career hitter. Take your time. Make a good throw at a boy. So he gets the speedy Borges.
Borges goes in hard at second base, trying to break it up, and he catches just barely the leg as Alexi gets out of the way. Doubtful if he's able to get him at first base, as
no, he's not going to get it.
Garcia runs pretty well.
Good slide by Borges.
Yes, it was. He went at the bag, disrupted the double play attempt.
So here's a tough little customer right here. Colton Wong. Singled and scored in the first, line hard to center and deep in the third. Then he popped up in the fifth.
Well, Tyler went out there on instructions from Robin, and now Robin is slowly walking out. Zach Duke is ready to go. Robin looks out to the
same
pen.
thing.
Yep. So Zach Duke is coming into this one. We'll step out and be back after these messages. Content all year long, including news and video updates, ticket offers, breaking alerts, and more. Visit whitesox.com/blacklist to register today. And our Honda call to the pen is Zach Duke, the third Sox pitcher of the night, taking over for Zach Putnam. There you look at the numbers. On for the 36th time. He's 3-3. His ERA just below 3.5. He inherits Garcia at first base, representing the tying run, but there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
So here's Wong. Now Avi backs up and right. Garcia. Not a lot of stolen bases in his career, but his granddad, Dave Garcia, was one of the real outstanding baseball men. Former manager of the Angels in Cleveland.
I spent a lot of time with Dave, and a very, very nice man.
They didn't come any better than Dave Garcia. There's that sweeper. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 0-2 the count.
Jake Petrichkin.
It's Jake again.
The ever-present Jake Petrichkin. Losing in the pen. He should be loose from the last 5 days.
Oh, he had a rip at that one.
Even though this ball was away, Wong had a good shot at it. Fortunately,
Sure
fouled
did.
it straight back.
He's impressive.
Yeah, he stays in there
first
pretty
time,
well.
You better believe it. He looks like he's a baseball player. Two out. And the 0-2 pitch. There it was. With his approach just underneath it. He got some bat speed.
He's strong.
Better believe he is. Took that pitch nicely down low. Bows that one down off his foot.
That was a good change of location by Zach Duke because he'd been staying away with just about everything. And thinking that Wong was probably starting to look away because he had good swings, he came inside and almost got that one by him.
Garcia has yet to attempt a stolen base. High pop-up. Carlos, yes, makes the catch. That'll retire the side, and we're into the 8th, still leading 2-1. 2-1, and another outstanding performance by Jose Quintana.
The surprising thing in this series is St. Louis Cardinals are the best pitching team in all of baseball, and yet our Sox have outpitched them in these 2 games to date. So 2 great performances, Chris Sale last night, Jose Quintana tonight, and hopefully just enough runs to leave with a couple of wins.
Well, if we can, we'll come home off this trip 4-4, and that's after blowing a game in Minnesota and a game in Detroit.
Kevin Segras comes into the game at 3-0, his ERA 157. We saw him last night, and he was pretty impressive, although you see left-handers have hit him to the tune of 302, right-handers hitting in the high 100s against him. There it is. From today till tomorrow. But that Cardinal fan has hung in there doggedly.
So here's Melky. Takes a good fastball. That one at 93 for a strike. Melky 1 for 3. Led off the 6th with that line shot. Home run into the bullpen in right field. They measured at 387 feet. High pop up. Hayward is there.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, way earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moment, and it is the aforementioned Melky leading off the 6th inning. He goes down, gets a low curveball, and takes it out of the ballpark. That makes it a 2-1 game, and that's exactly where it stands.
Here's Avi. A walk, a single, and a strikeout. Beckham on deck. First pitch strike. That one at 84. The ball is striking out. Two and 1. Watch out. Boy, he almost dehorned him right there. Just an absolute missile.
Segers throws this one in the outside corner, and Avi hits a rocket back up the middle. His second hit. He's 2 for 3 tonight. That one might have been hit harder than Melky's home run. And Gordon Beckham comes on a pinch hit. Connor Gillespie was 0 for 3.
Connor grounded to first, second, and popped up. Avi with a stolen base back in the second inning, picked up his 4th. That one at 91. Count evens at 1. And once again, a reminder, off day tomorrow, or today, I should say. And then tomorrow, which will be Friday, it'll be Baltimore coming to town for 3 and Toronto for 4, and plenty of good seats available for both those series. So make your plans to be out. Right now, Chris Sale is projected to be going on Sunday, but that is yet to be determined. And if he does, when he does go out there the next time, it will be for history, to be the first pitcher in the history of the game of baseball to go 9 consecutive games with double-digit strikeouts. I believe you've got 27 guys who've thrown perfect games. And you only have 2 that's pitched 8 consecutive games with double-digit strikeouts.
That's a monumental feat, and one that Chris can own by himself the next time out. Segers does not have a real good move, and yet he was persistent, finally catching Avi leaning the wrong way, and on his wet footing, he was hung out to dry. Again, not much of a move, but he was running on first move, and that first move, unfortunately, was to first base.
Fouls that back in the count 2-2. Now, it's been the same for both teams. A slippery field with all that monsoon downpour that we had for that hour and 49-minute rain delay. But we've had 3 slips and they haven't had any. We go to the bottom of the 8th, leading 2-1. The bottom of the 8th inning, Gordon Beckham remains in the ball game at third.
Zach Duke is on and stays in the game for just one more hitter, and that's Matt Carpenter, because then it's Peralta, Reynolds, Grichuk, Molina, all right-handed, and that's why the bullpen is up and going once again.
Carpenter's 0 for 3. He's lined hard to center, popped up to left, and grounded to second. Takes first pitch strike. Outfield, they're a little deeper. For the most part, straight up. Bit of a gap out there in left center. Gordon, several steps off the line at third. And Abreu, 3 steps off the line at first. Oh, 0-2 the count.
In a one-run game, with this footing in the outfield, you got to play most everything in front of you and make sure it doesn't get by you. Because the ball's going to skid anyway, and the footing is not particularly good.
That ball hit in the left center field. Watch out!
Well, we've seen a whole lot of that this year.
Adam makes the catch. That, as Robin comes out, could have been bad as we take another look at it.
Well, Melky keeps calling for it, but he's just got to give way because that's center fielder's ball all the way. And he's the captain out there. So they discuss it. And in the all's well that ends well category, Zach Duke is going to depart. We'll step out and be back after these messages. White Sox with the MLB.TV game of the day. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay previews, radio broadcasts, and more. New features include StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. And Jake Petrichka, who came on last night and pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning, is our Honda call to the pen. Jake has been throwing the ball pretty well. On for the 32nd time, he's 1-1. His ERA is shrinking, 3.29. And last night, coming on in relief of Chris Sale, he faced Hayward, Molina, and Scruggs, and got him 1-2-3. He just has to get him a 1 and 2 here in the bottom of the 8th.
Peralta, that RBI double and a hard single. He also has grounded to third. Two 2-0. Carlos has got him. 2 down. Reynolds 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts, and then that rocket triple into center field that Adams slipped. Ball got by him. Then Quintana pitched out of it.
It's Rosenthal and Maness. They don't get a run, it'll be Maness. They get a couple of runs, it'll be Rosenthal.
Close pitch, didn't get it. Alexei on the move. Nice job. That's a 1-2-3-8. Then we go to the ninth, leading 2-1.
Play daily fantasy baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code ShySox.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it is Seth Maness. He was awfully tough last night. On for the 39th time, he's 2-0. His ERA an even 3. Only 2 walks, and 23 strikeouts in 30 innings. One of the best control pitchers in all of baseball.
Alexei gets his second hit, a bullet into center field. So the leadoff man aboard. He walked into a 6-4 fielder's choice. He doubled in the 6th and now singles in the 9th.
It would be awfully nice to pick up 1 insurance run. Sox have tried 1 stolen base. It was early. It was the 2nd inning. It was Avi. He was successful. Then he got picked off.
Tyler He's 1 for 3 and a run scored. He scored our first run on the base hit by Adam Eaton back in the 5th inning to tie the game at 1.
David Robertson loosening in the pen. He saved last night's game. It was his 16th.
Maness is not going to overpower you, but there's something in his motion that's a little deceptive that makes him look about 6 inches quicker than he does from the side.
If he keeps the ball down, it sinks, and then he's really tough, especially if he uses that changeup. If he's going to get that fastball up, he's going to have some problems. That's the pitch that is awfully tough to deal with because he keeps it down and it sinks.
He's got the same arm action with that.
Yep.
Same arm action. Sanchez on deck. That one at 89. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. There's the change. Once again, a reminder, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Orioles come to town. Friday, Johnny Danks against Ubaldo Jimenez. Saturday, Jeff Samardzija against Chris Tillman. And on Sunday right now, it's Chris Sale that gets to be announced for the Orioles, but that is still being talked about. Plenty of good seats for that series. And then it's the Toronto Blue Jays coming to town for 4, and plenty of good seats for that series.
Choate is their situational left-hander, and Hatley is the guy they just called up from the minor leagues to replace Matt Belisle, who just went on the disabled list. So the Cardinals lose another to the DL.
2-2. That ball hit deep. They look up. You can put it on the ball. Yes. A bomb. Again by Tyler Flowers. And it's a 4-1 Sox lead.
His 7th home run, his 2nd in as many nights. Tyler's now driven in 19, and he gets his 2nd hit. And this 4th home run replay might have gone longer than the one last night. He gets every bit of this one, and it just keeps on going.
That is longer than the one last night.
Boy, he rode that one well out of the ballpark. And he has made this park look small 2 nights in a row.
Well, he can do that in Grand Canyon. He's a strong young man. As there is a strike. Carlos is 1 for 3, a single, sharp single, grounder to first, and then a line shot out to center field.
Just the 2nd home run that Maness has given up this year, and this is his 39th appearance.
And there's a shot, fair ball. And that's going to be a ground rule double. That's his 6-2 bagger. And here comes Adam LaRoche.
He crushes this ball right down the line past Reynolds, who was playing very close to the line. 3rd time he's hit the ball hard tonight.
So Maness will depart. And we'll be back.
He's 1-0, his ERA 2.25, on for the 37th time, and there's a whole lot of guys in this Cardinal bullpen who have been used quite a bit.
So here's Adam. Four, 11-0 for us. 1, 6-0 for them. Adam's got a job to do. Let's get this man in. Breaking ball, strike. Count evens at 1. Did not check it up. Adam on deck. And he just did get a piece of it. Watch out, that hit him. He'll take it for the club.
So if you're going to get hit, a 72-mile-an-hour, whatever that was, maybe a little slider that didn't slide, is not all that bad.
Oh, so with 2 strikes. So here's Adam. He's 2 for 4 tonight, with that RBI to tie the game back in the 5th inning. Carpenter right at the cut of the grass at third. Outfield straight up. Reynolds right at the cut of the grass. He backed up a couple of steps now at first. So the corner's looking for the bunt. But there's no bunt. And the count 0-2. Flips that one. Souvenir, right? About 9 rows back. If you're just tuning in, we've had 3 rain delays tonight. 1 hour and 49 minutes, 1 14 minutes, the other 16 minutes. And that big front that was coming our way started moving southeast as he almost hits him. 2-2. Joe wanted to know what the count was.
It's 2-2.
That's what you're told.
It's still 2-2.
Well, and that makes it 3-2.
Well, the problem is nobody told Adam that it was 2-2, as he decided that that was enough, but he's got to stay in to see another one.
Very seldom you're going to see a pitcher and a hitter in the same at bat lose the count. So the full count with nobody out.
And that hit him.
So that will load him up. And that'll bring up Brayu and also Matheny. So Choate comes in, faces two left-handers, hits them both. So Matheny out, Choate out, and we'll be back.
Debut of Marcus Hatley. Those are the numbers in AAA at Memphis. He was 4-2, his ERA 1.69. He was called upon to save 4 games. He was successful 3 times. And for his major league debut, he inherits the bases loaded and nobody out.
Former Cub farmhand. He's 6'5", 220 pounds, 27 years old. He was born in Honolulu. Sacks packed with Sox. Nobody out. Jose 0 for 4 tonight, so he's due. Outfield straight up. Bit of a gap out there in right center. Infield in. First pitch ball. Sanchez, LaRoche, and Eaton. Oh, Lordy.
He got a slider up in his eyes and fouled it straight back.
He had to barrel right on that. just underneath it. Big pitch right here in the scheme of things. And there's a base hit. Comes Sanchez. They're going to hold Adam at third. And it's a 5-1 ball game.
RBI number 43 for Jose. Through a drawn-in infield, that one just scoots on into left field.
So the book is closed on Seth Maness. No parts of an inning, 3 runs. And here is Melky. Melky with that leadoff homer in the 6th inning, putting us on top 2-1.
The bases loaded for Melky has been pretty good.
And a bobble. The only place is first base. We've had some luck with that. That's how we got our first run tonight on that bobble. Got one last night on a bobble.
And Melky drives in another run. Number 28. Looked like it should have been 2. But Wong has only one play after he can't pick it up.
So Ducks on the pond, just 1 out. Now they're going to hold a runner. Peralta's going to get him at first. Now they got to throw it away. Had him off at third. Adam scores. So a big top of the 9th inning.
Pretty easy play at first base. Peralta gets it over there, and then Reynolds throwing it home, and Adam Eaton is caught off, but Matt Carpenter misses it.
He just fanned on that one.
Not a particularly good piece of base running, and some horrible defense. Goes E5.
So it's a 7-1 Sox lead. Gordon's been able to play one time. That was last inning. Struck out. Seven, 12-0 for us. 1-6-1 for them.
A big 5 spot.
That's a nice crooked number right there. Got him, but the damage is done. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th, leading by 6. weekend series with Buck Showalter's First Place O's. So join us for the first pitch at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Adam LaRoche stays in the game to play first base. And Scott Carroll comes in the game. It's a non-save situation, so as that one was pretty much put out of reach, David Robertson sat down and saved him some wear and tear on his arm. Scott Carroll comes in with 3 outs to get.
Grichuk, Molina, and Hayward. Grichuk 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a pop-up. Seven-1 good guys here in the finale of this brief 2-game set and this abbreviated 9-game road trip. And if this holds true, we're going to come home 4-4.
And it turns out to be a pretty good trip after all.
Well, considering the way we played Minnesota and Detroit, it turns out to be a terrific when you come into a first-place team with the best record in baseball and you grab a pair. If this holds true, that's a pretty good trip. That is a very good trip. Can't get it. High into left field. One out.
Tony Cruz is coming on. He's going to pinch hit Yadier Molina, hitting 200.
Now Bill's outfield swings around to the right. First pitch strike. And that's the can of corn. Two down. Here's Jason. He doubled. That was in the second, struck out in the fourth, and struck out in the seventh. Pitchers of record are the starters, Quintana and Lackey. Well, how long has it been since we held a lead for Quintana?
I was going to say, he only got 2 runs when he was in there, but he certainly is happy to see that 5 go up in the 9th inning. Makes things a lot less tense.
1-1 pitch. And there's a base hit. So the 7th hit, and that'll bring up Peter Borges, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts and a walk. Off day today. Counting this as Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the first place Baltimore Orioles come to town as that's fouled back. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the one game out of first place Toronto Blue Jays come to town. And they have been mashing. Toronto beat Boston 11-2. Mark Burley the winner. He's 9-4. Short lead. Blue Jays hit 5 home runs in that game against the Carmines. And the count 1-2 to Borges. He gone. And this ball game is over. And this 9-game abbreviated trip is over. We're going to come home at 4-4 and Quintana once again, Steve.
Well, 2 wonderful pitching performances here. Chris Sale last night, Jose Quintana tonight. It was nice to see the ball club just hit the baseball late, but certainly make that lead hold up. And our player of the game is none other than Jose Quintana. Once again, just a terrific outing. 6 innings, 6 hits. He gave him 1 earned run, no walks, fanned 8. His ERA is shrinking. It's 3.81. He won his 4th game of the year. And remember, 3 rain delays probably made this an abbreviated outing, but Jose had